Frank Ranks week 25. Damn, this whole year is just flying. But we have Marvel, we have DC, we have Independence. Who's going to be on top? Let's find out right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to go through these comics. We're going to see all 9 of them. Again, we got Marvel and DC and Independence, but only one can be number 1. So let's see where we're going to go with this. But we're going to start out with number 9. And number 9 is an independent book. And it is by Bad Idea. It's such a bad idea. This is by, I'm surprised, actually, because I am a fan of Robert Venditti. But everybody said this book was great, and I did not care for it at all. And that is Planet Death. Planet Death, everybody. So this... There's really no dialogue in here. There's no narration. The writing is extremely poor in here. And if they said, destroy the weapon, go home, return home, they must have said that it's printed like this, like speakers saying it over and over and over again. It's like a dozen times in this book. That's the only real piece of dialogue. Is it's this speaker repeating, destroy the weapon, and, you know, it's almost like save the cheerleader, save the world, or whatever else. So, I am not, I mean, the action in it is okay. The artwork is pretty good, but there's no substance here at all. Just nothing. I was completely disappointed with this book. And I will not be continuing it. So everybody says how great it is, and I'm just not one of them. Color me unimpressed. Color me unimpressed. But if you just like pretty pictures, there you go. But I don't know what's going on with Robert Venditti. This is very strange. All right, number 8. This is a Marvel book. Which one is it? Which one is almost like Christmas? We have Magic. Number 7. Yes, number 7. Because I did not know this was an ongoing book when I picked it up. I thought it was a limited series. None of these solo X-Men titles should be ongoing. That makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever. So originally I gave it to 6, and I said, oh, maybe it'll just continue a couple more. It'll go to 8. But this particular storyline has no end in sight. Just none. And then I looked it up and it says, no, it's ongoing. I'm like, well, you got me for 8. So I'm going to collect one more and I'm out. I'm out. This has not been very good. This is the really weird, undulating story of this order that was keeping this demon trapped. And this entire book was Magic going on tour of this sanctum. That's it. That was the entire book. Just her going on a tour. That's it. And now they're getting like a little side quest to do by the end of this. So I like her and Danny together, but it's just not enough when you have this poor writing. Again, I'm of the mind that there should not be a storyline that goes beyond 6 or 7 issues. It starts dragging, like, immediately. Like right after you get to 6 and it goes on, you can immediately feel the drag. You immediately feel it. And now we're on 7, and I'm like, what's going on here? I don't care anymore. I don't care. You've overstayed your welcome. You've talked beyond the sale. It's just, I'm done. I'm done. So I'm going to get one more, and that's it. All right, and then we have another independent book. So we're going back and forth this week, and this is number 7, Dick Tracy Valentine's Special. So I don't know when this originally came out. I don't know if it came out on Valentine's. I didn't see it. But I ended up reading this one digitally. I ended up saw it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like the Dick Tracy series, so I'll read it. And it wasn't as good as the other ones. It still had some. It had, I think the artwork was actually better, but the storyline was not as good. I mean, you kind of knew who the killer was, and it just out of the blue they just announce it, So it was. I know they had a limited, since it was a one shot. They had a limited amount of pages to tell the story, but it just felt extremely abrupt, and it just didn't wow me like the regular ongoing series does. But even on the ongoing series, every 5, 6 issues, they got a new storyline in there, and it's very, very smart how they do it. Alex Segura doing that one. But this was, and then they had a backup story here about aliens or demons or something. I don't know. It was definitely not anything that has to do with Dick Tracy. That's for sure. I was like, I finished reading that. I'm like, I'm going to make believe I didn't read that because it was so bad. But again, this was middle of the road, this one. It just wasn't good, wasn't bad kind of thing. I didn't hate it. I don't hate the Magic one either. It's just, I just don't care. I just don't care anymore. All right, now we're going on to Marvel. And remember that we're doing the Wayback Machine because I did go to Florida and go into that famous Faces and Funnies. What an incredible store. If you're ever in Florida, definitely check out Famous Faces and Funnies. It's a huge, huge store with such a huge selection, huge back issues. It was crazy. But anyway, because I'm collecting my Byrne run, so I'm going to keep until I have 3 more left to read from what the back issues that I bought. But anyway, it's Fantastic Four, number 264, and this is number 6 on our list. And yeah, I absolutely love this one because John Byrne knows how to take villains and make them interesting. And this is about the Mole Man. So the Mole Man was like, he created this utopia under the thing, and then I guess a developer or something like that ended up screwing up his whole thing, and now he's out for revenge, and he's fighting the thing, and he has, all his Mole Men, strapping him down. He's like, whoa, 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 we're on the same side. We don't like this developer either, and he's an amusement park. So, like Disney? I don't know if he's supposed to be Disney. But anyway, he says, well, we want your help. He's got Johnny. He's using Johnny. He tried to do some stuff here scientifically, John Byrne, because I guess he's having Johnny superheat the core of the Earth, and it's supposed to enlarge the crust to make more land. I don't know if that actually works, but I had me scratching my head going, is there any truth to that? I don't know. But anyway, so that's the storyline. So Ben ends up talking the Mole Man into helping them basically get Johnny and fight against this developer. And we get the original Mole Man creature now helping the Fantastic Four as opposed to fighting against it. And that's why you see Ben going, whoa, 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 he's on our side. A really good twist. I like this one a lot. So now we're getting into the books that I like. All right? And it's just now I have to rank them based on how much I like them. But anyway, this is a really good issue. All right? And now we're going to go into number 5. And that is Batman and Robin. So we finally get some progression here. And I think that Philip Kennedy Johnson, he saw the writing on the wall that this was already going way too long, and he is going to close it up now by 24. Thank God, because I was so over Memento, it's crazy. I'm over that character. And there could have been a real good twist in here that I think was a missed opportunity. So we finally talk about Memento, and that he's a creature from another hell or whatever. He rhymes, his things rhyme, and I guess that Robin was able to escape and didn't have his costume, so he put some stuff on, and they're underground into where the during the earthquake, No Man's Land. It went underground, so there's still like houses and stuff like that underground from the earthquake, and that's where all this is taking place. And for some reason, Batman hired these kids instead of protecting them. He hired them to go and do research into a place that he knew was possibly going to be very dangerous. So he put these kids in a dangerous situation. I'm like, what? Why didn't he just give them some money and have a place to stay, as opposed to leaving them on the street and having them go into a dangerous situation? I think that was a bad move. But anyway, these kind of like the Lost Boy kids, and they end up running into Robin, and then they end up running into Memento. And Batman and the other detective figure out where they are, so he comes crashing in. And I really think that the twist, if it was me writing it, I would have made the female detective Memento. That would have been a good twist, that she didn't know it was in her head this whole time, and she would just transform into it. So it was kind of like, bike riding her body. I think that would have been a good twist, but that's not what this is. And that would have reinvigorated my feeling on this story. If you gave me a good twist, but so far there's been no twist at all. But anyway, it's a decent book, but I'm very happy that this thing is ending. This storyline's ending. Let's get on with something else. And I really hope he doesn't take 12 issues to take the next story. Okay, now we're going into number 4. Again, we're going to the Wayback Machine with Marvel with Fantastic Four by John Byrne. And this is a really good issue, and I'll tell you why. So, if you ever wondered what it would be like if Sue and Ben fought, who would win, this actually answers that. So, we have a female antagonist here that this is the part that's silly, but it's what keeps everything moving. So, she created a cosmetic thing like makeup that she can control men. So men want to do anything for her based on the chemicals that are in this makeup, and I guess it sends out almost like a poison ivy situation. So whenever she lifts up the veil, she can control men and she can tell them what to do. So she's controlling Ben, and Sue has to fight him. And with all her force fields and everything like that, it's not enough. He keeps breaking her force fields and stuff like that. And she keeps trying to get away and run, and he doesn't let her. So it's a really good action-packed issue with Sue trying to figure out how to beat her while he's protecting him or protecting her, and trying to figure out where her power is coming from and all this other stuff. So she's slowly figuring it out while she's getting attacked and being on the defensive and being on also attacking him at the same time to try and basically knock him out. So really good stuff. If you get a chance to read that, it's really good. Okay. We're going back into number 3. We're getting down to the nitty gritty now. All right. So we've only seen 2 Independents, and we've seen a bunch of Marvel. And really, I think I only have the one DC. I think everything else is Marvel. Yeah, I didn't really get any DC this week, which is really unusual. All right. So now we're going to number 3, and that is another Fantastic Four book. And this is a number 286. So take a look at that cover. X-Men and Fantastic Four together? That's awesome. That is awesome. So, and why we got this continuation from X-Men into Fantastic Four, this tells the story of the X-Men more than it does Fantastic Four. So this is the return of Jean Grey after she was killed as the Phoenix. So it tells the story of how she survived when Phoenix was killed in a Fantastic Four book. And I've never read this. So I really had no idea how Jean survived from the Phoenix thing. But very strange to stick something that pinnacle into a Fantastic Four book. I was very surprised. But if you're an X-Men fan, you got to pick this one up because it explains uh, the continuation of that Kree Shi'ar thing that with the Phoenix. Yeah, so really good stuff. Again, if you haven't got a chance to read that, definitely do. But it's funny though because they leave her in this ripped dress throughout the whole thing. They don't give her pants, nothing. They go on, they're going on all these things to try to figure out what happened to her, and they don't even give her a pair of pants. It's pretty funny. Not that I'm complaining, John Byrne just trying to sell the sex a little bit there. All right, number 2. We're going to go into an independent book this time. Independent, woo! So this is by Titan, and this is Solomon Kane, number 4. This is written and drawn by the same guy, and you know how I feel about that. Normally, they can either write or they can draw. They can't do both because they're doing something poorly. However, this guy really, really got everything across the board. The writing is good in it, and the art's amazing. The art is amazing. What I am upset about, and I understand because he's doing both, he can't do many of them, is that it ended. So we have one guy, that takes. We got Magic that is going on too long. Batman and Robin going on too long. I'm complaining about that, and then I complain about this not going on long enough. Ending it at 4. It really needed at least one more issue. Give me one more issue. But the storyline ends. It ends with some gratification to it. I was actually quite happy with all the little pieces being plugged up. But we get to see Snake Men, and it's all about this snake ring that they're trying to get, and they're finding the temple. The snake people are trying to protect it because it basically, if you put this thing on, it turns you into a very powerful snake creature. And then one of the guys that was kind of a dick, he sacrifices his life. The father, is his uncle? I think it's her uncle. Diamante's uncle. He does something like supernatural, the power of the hand of God or something like that. I was like, whoa. But he didn't have that hand much longer. So the violence in here is good. The fight scenes are all good. The artwork is amazing. I like all the snake creatures. It's really good. If you get a chance to read it, it'll obviously be into trade now. So definitely pick that up. The artwork is amazing. All right. And Titan again. We going twice for Titan. Number 1, going independent. And this should be a shock to no one. Conan the Barbarian by Jim Zub. Really good stuff here. I mean, having the gladiator type of thing, the Spartacus thing, is nothing new. But I'd say the action is very good in here, and we are getting into some good stuff here. We're getting some twists and turns in the story, and Jim Zub never keeps a story going too long. In fact, he ends that stuff. Sometimes I'm like, it's the end? What happened? And sometimes he continues them on, like he'll stop the storyline, having you scratch your head going, did he even finish this thing? And then he'll continue it later on, which I find extremely interesting. And I think that Space Ghost did some of that too, where they were doing single shots and then they, all the villains got together by the end, which was great. David Propose's stuff. I'm missing that book. And I guess Dynamite is finally getting back on track. But anyway, Conan in here is stuck in a gladiatorial type of thing. Tatha Mon is the head of this, and it is like an enchantress named something Bast, August Bast or something like that. Bast is the only thing I remember. But anyway, she is he's her champion, and now she wants to be a little bit more. She wants to be a little bit more than friends. Meanwhile, he's got the girl that he saved, Olivia, and now she's a slave, and he's trying to, of course, save her at the same time. He has to actually go into battle with some of the allies that ended up all getting captured together. But as he's fighting Bast, she ends up, putting on this magic to subdue him, and she actually does subdue him. But then we get a reveal of a character from another storyline that now pops up, and that's where it ends. And really good stuff. I mean, again, it's kind of generic, but it's told extremely well. The artwork's amazing, and I can't wait for this to keep going. This is he hasn't let me down yet. So, I mean, the only storyline that I was like, was the daughter of the ice giant thing. I don't remember that storyline ever ending. It just stopped. So that's the only one that's a little disappointing, because I liked what was going on. It just poofed. It just stopped. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Remember, too, that I am a writer, and if you'd like to check out anything that I've written, you can go to the link in the description below. And also, remember, too, that we are doing Fairy Tales of Terror on Kickstarter. We are going to break 450 followers right now. I am waiting for the video to get done, and once that gets done, I'm going to be launching within the next week or so. I am going to the Atlanta Comic Convention. If you guys are in Atlanta, I do have a booth if you'd like to meet me up there. And I am going to be at Gen Con the week after that, or 2 weeks after that. It's the end of the month. So yeah, lots of good stuff happening. Definitely check that out. Remember to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can. If you want to share this video out there, that would be great too. And if you can subscribe, ring that bell, ding ding. Have a great week, everybody. I greatly appreciate you watching all the way through. All right.